Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Microeconomics at Ozarka College. Today what I'm going to do is give you just a little bit of feedback on the Chapter 8 activities that I finished grading yesterday. And then I'm going to tell you what we've got coming up due for Chapters 9 and 10 early next week. And then also tell you a little bit about the midterm exam that we'll have coming up next week as well. All right, so the first thing is, like I said, I did finish grading the Chapter 8 activities yesterday. Hopefully you've already gone in and looked at your grades for those activities and read the corresponding grading comments. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and do that as soon as you can. And let me know if you have any questions at all. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Most of you did well on the Chapter 8 assignment. There were a few of you that didn't quite grasp some of the concepts covered on the assignment. And so because of that, I have created a video right here that I posted on the announcements page. And also I posted it under activities that I'll show you in just a minute. But even those of you that did well and got all the points for the Chapter 8 assignment, you may find it beneficial to watch this video. In fact, I would highly recommend watching the video, if nothing else, just to kind of get a refresher or review over the topics covered in Chapter 8, because a lot of those same topics we will be revisiting in Chapters 9 and 10 when we're looking at other market structures. And so it probably would benefit you to go ahead and watch the video, even those of you that did really well on the assignment. Most of you did do well on the assignment, but there were some of you who seemed like you were having a hard time understanding some of the concepts, and so that's why I created the video. And like I always tell you, I really appreciate those of you that are putting the time and effort into completing the assignments for this class, and so keep up the good work on that. Let's see, the Chapter 8 discussion that we had, if you'll remember, it was about the flower auction and some of the characteristics of the flower auction and how that is similar to the perfect competition market structure that we looked at in Chapter 8. I thought that discussion went really well. I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments, and I enjoyed making my own comments there. Hopefully you found that kind of interesting and were able to kind of take what we've learned from the Chapter 8 concepts and kind of apply it to a real world market. And so, like I said, I always have fun with those discussions. Hopefully you are finding them fun as well. But like I said, I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments, and so I really appreciate everyone's effort on that, so keep up the good work on that as well. The Chapter 8 test, most of you did well on that. Just as a reminder, you can take those tests as many times as you want to up until the due date, and your highest grade is automatically recorded. All right, so that brings us to what we've got coming up due next. So if we go to the activities page in my Ozarka, right now we are on kind of the beginning to middle portion of week 7 of the semester, and we don't have anything else due this week because we just had work due Sunday of this week, but we do have work due early next week, early next week, specifically Monday, March 10th. So you'll notice we've got the Chapters 9 and 10 assignment, test, and discussion due by Monday, March 10th. So that's Monday of next week. So you've got just a little under a week to be working on those activities. Chapter 9, by the way, covers the monopoly market structure, which is on the opposite end of the spectrum of market structure as opposed to perfect competition that we talked about in Chapter 8. So Chapter 8, we talked about perfect competition. Chapter 9, we're going to talk about monopoly, which is at the opposite end of the spectrum. And then in Chapter 10, we're going to talk about two market structures that have characteristics kind of somewhere in between those two extreme cases. And specifically, those two in the middle are monopolistic competition and oligopoly market structures. So those are the market structures you'll learn about in Chapter 10. So be working on those activities. Remember all the resources that you have. Again, that Chapter 8 assignment review video is right here under Week 8. So it's the same video that I showed you on the announcements page. I normally will post it both on the activities and on the announcements, just so that we make sure that we have it in a convenient place. But basically, again, chapters 9 and 10 are due by Monday, March 10th. And then the only other thing that I need to tell you about today is the midterm exam. You'll notice the very last item under Week 8, which is next week, is the midterm exam, which will cover chapters 1 through 10, which will be all the chapters that we'll have covered at this midway point of the semester. The midterm exam will be quite a bit different from the chapter test that you've taken so far this semester, in that the midterm exam, you'll only be able to take it one time. There will be a time limit, but it will be available from March 11th through the 13th, which is Tuesday through Thursday of next week. And I will send everyone an email and an announcement. Probably tomorrow, I will send out more information about the midterm exam. So you'll have more information about that tomorrow. But basically, to study for it, you need to go back and study the concepts that were covered on the chapter test. But don't study the questions that were on the chapter test. Study the concepts that were covered on the chapter test. The questions are probably going to be different. In fact, most of them will be different. So don't study the questions. Study the concepts. Okay? And so that's pretty much all I have for you. So one other thing, though, is we will have the midterm grades coming up due here pretty soon. And in fact, I believe they're due at the end of next week. So kind of be looking for that. You should pretty much know what your midterm grade is just by looking at your percentage grade. It's going to be whatever letter grade corresponds to whatever percentage grade you currently have in the course, or after you take the midterm exam. So whatever your percentage grade is, whatever the corresponding letter grade is, that's what your grade will be for midterm. So be looking for that next week as well. And so be working on all these things. Let me know if you have questions. And enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. And I will talk to you again probably either late next week or early the week after. Thank you.